Here now with reaction, Florida Senator Marco Rubio. He's on the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, this is my interpretation of that statement. My interpretation is that Joe Biden was told in no uncertain terms, not only will they not increase the production of oil, but they're going to cut their production of oil. And then Joe's answer was, well, can you just delay the announcement a month? And that leads me to conclude the very strong possibility that Joe Biden was trying to collude with the Saudis, with OPEC Plus, with Russia, and OPEC nations to prevent this information from becoming public prior to a midterm. Is that a far conspiracy out there, conspiracy theory, or is that accurate?
Well, I think the pieces begin to fit. First of all, they've already played politics with oil. So obviously he runs for president. He threatens he's going to put everybody out of business. So, of course, the refining capacity, the production capacity, almost 1 billion barrels of oil less today than we were when Donald Trump was president. Then you have them start dipping into the strategic reserves. And we have these strategic reserves after the OPEC embargo of the 1970s, because we never wanted to be in that spot again. Those things are there for things like hurricanes, a war, some other disruption. They're not there for midterms. That's what he was using it for. Then we get into this situation now where Saudis and others are acting in their best interest. I think they're doing two things here. One, they want to set oil prices at a way that is good for them. And at the same time, and it's OPEC plus Russia, but the other is they're doing it to punish America and Joe Biden. And we shouldn't be in this position. We are an oil-producing country if we want to be. The reason why we are not, the reason why we are producing a million barrels of oil a day less than we used to, is because the Biden administration will not allow it to be produced, and the radical left and the Democratic that controls the Democratic Party has told the fossil fuel industry, oil and others, we are going to put you out of business. And we find ourselves in a position as beggars. The most powerful country in the world is now in a position of having to beg these third-rate countries to support us and help us. Okay, so this is the point.
So he's begging these countries that hate our guts. Oh, you know, we have more natural resources, as you know, than all these countries combined. We can be energy independent for hundreds of years. This is a problem for me. Joe Biden, for some reason, thinks it's okay to Mother Earth that we import oil, but we can't produce it domestically. My question, though, is specific here, because the Saudis didn't like Joe's comments about reassessing the relationship after they cut production of oil. My question is, why did Joe Biden then ask them to delay their decision, delay their announcement? He knew they weren't going to cooperate and that, in fact, they were going to cut production. Why did he want it delayed until after the midterms? To me, the answer is obvious. I think we need a congressional investigation. You would be a perfect candidate for it, to lead it, into whether or not he was trying to collude with foreign countries to get influence in the upcoming midterm elections.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that the timing tells you that answers your question, right? Can you just not do this or announce you're going to do this until after November? Because the last thing he wants is what's happening already, what happened over this weekend. A spike in oil. The oil prices go up in the futures market, and then a couple weeks later it begins to get priced in at the pump, right around the time as Americans are going to go vote. And remember, Biden's been going around, and the Democrats have been going around for weeks bragging about how gas prices were coming down, everything was on. He was taking credit for that. Now he'll have to take the blame, and he deserves the blame. So, yes, I believe they're messing around with it for political purposes, but I also think this is indicative of how these radical left-wing Marxist misfits that control the Democratic Party have put us in the position that we are now in as a country. And that is, they're okay with us getting more oil from other countries. They just don't want it produced here, and it leaves us vulnerable, not just on oil, but on all kinds of other things that they refuse to produce in our country. Natural gas, all the byproducts that come from that, you name it.
You know, it's really a shame, Senator. I can't believe we've been put in this position. And look at the suffering of the American people. Every time they fill up their gas tank, they feel it. Every product they buy at every store they go to, it costs more to produce and it costs more to transport. These are scary times, all of it preventable if he would have stayed with the Trump energy independence policies. Senator Rubio, your race in Florida is critical if Republicans are to have any chance at holding the Senate and getting a majority. We are following your election closely. I know you're up, but we'd like to see you win by double digits if possible.
Well, we want to win big. I need everyone's help. Please go on my website, marcorubio.com. I need your help.
You bet, Senator. Thank you for being with us.